Are you ready for the best Kansas City Chiefs insight? Welcome to Four Guys in a Bar podcast, sponsored by Chiefs Blitz and presented by Dave Purdy with Supreme Lending. For your mortgage solutions, call Dave today at 816-405-5831. That's 816-405-5831 because he's pretty good. Here's your Chiefs Blitz host, Nick Athan, with Lou Montagna, Andre Tillman, and Hense Todd.
Welcome back to the next edition of Four Guys in a Bar, presented by Chiefs Blitz. I'm your host, Nick Athan. For those who don't know who I am, I used to run War Paint Illustrated back in the day and started Chiefs Blitz last summer. We're excited to be moving forward. My partner in crime is Mr. Hense Todd with Bowtie Sports. You can check out his show every Saturday with Andre Tillman, Coach Dre, 1 o'clock at Bowtie Sports on YouTube. Please subscribe to their show, and also please subscribe to our show. Before we get started, I want to introduce one of our corporate sponsors, the first being Mr. Eric Hense with the Eric Hense Group. If you're looking for a trusted real estate advisor, Eric is your man. He is the guy that's going to walk you through the process of finding a home, selling a home, getting the keys in your hand, moving into your house. A lot of steps have to go. It's not like the old days when you could go and just buy a house, you sign a piece of paper, and the deed is done. It's a lot more complicated these days. You need somebody who understands the ups and the downs and the ins and outs of trying to buy and sell a house in the Kansas City area, and that is Mr. Eric Hense. You can reach Eric at 816-729-3785 or email him at esellskc@gmail.com.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
Absolutely proud sponsor of Chiefs Who, and we are joined by the other senior member of the group, Mr. Lou Montagna on the East Coast, and Mr. Andre Tillman in the heart of the Midwest. Gentlemen, crazy weekend. We had big news late Friday night with the L'Jarius Sneed situation. Rules are changing in the NFL. Things are just constantly moving, and the Chiefs enter the third week of free agency, and who knows what they're going to do this week now that they have a bunch of cap space. So with that said, first and foremost, everybody have a good and peaceful weekend.
Absolutely. March Madness, baby. Come on.
I didn't watch any basketball this weekend. It's the first time ever I've not watched more than one game. I usually am Thursday through Friday night, Thursday morning, Friday. I am in front of the TV.
Was there an apocalypse in your neighborhood? Did they cancel the TV service?
I knew KU would suck, and that's my team. And I really didn't want to watch the whole I didn't even watch Saturday's game because I knew there was no chance. I was out looking for flooring for the house, so there's no chance I'm watching that. But I just had zero interest in the tournament itself. For some reason, I didn't fill out a single bracket. I just kind of felt like this is I don't know. I just took a year off from the sport. It's too watered down for me right now.
Well, not Kansas, but there's certainly a lot of chalk in the tournament. You've got, all the ones and the twos are still around.
Yep.
I think NC State is probably the 11th seed. I don't think they're like the worst seeded team still in it. But there were, a lot of good games. I mean, I was watching that Grand Canyon, Alabama game. It was like watching, 90s Pistons Pacers or Pistons Bulls. I mean, no doubt, every single possession, it was a fight.
Right.
And Bryce Drew is the coach at Grand Canyon. For those of you that have never heard of Grand Canyon, like myself, I thought it was one of these online schools that.
I was one of the schools I was looking at out of high school.
Is that right?
It was.
Well, there you go. Well, Bryce Drew is the coach there. I mean, he's been around. I go back with him to that crazy buzzer beater he hit. I think it was against Mississippi.
Yeah.
He was playing for Valpo at the time in the NCAA tournament. His brother coaches Baylor. His dad was a coach. So anyway, that game was really intriguing to me.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but for me, honestly,
lost Hense there. We can't hear him.
Okay,
go ahead.
I say it was a great weekend for me, man. I was got invited out to the one-on-one awards, and got to see you ask Patrick Mahomes some questions. Rasheed Rice finally got to see number 4.
In person.
Hey, what you thought again? What you just thought again?
Or sir.
That's rare, God. That's legendary. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that phone in a minute.
Did you ask him all about Hollywood and how cool Hollywood is and how now number 5?
He was too busy gushing over his man crush. He didn't.
Yeah, he was.
I got a couple of pictures of him. I didn't get a chance to ask him a question because I was like, I asked Patrick Mahomes a question. I asked him,
you were doing this. You're doing this. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, man, I didn't know he was. I didn't know he was that tall in person. I was like, man, Jesus Christ. But again, I asked Patrick Mahomes. I was like, and got to ask JJ Watt a question also. But yeah, they was down in earth people. Everybody was there. See Mitch hosting their wives and everything, and it was. It was a nice weekend for me. So that top.
What did you ask him?
I asked him. I said, with the 32 pick, it's a lot of receivers coming out in this draft. I said, looking at all these receivers, I said, I threw the show out there. I said on Chiefs Blitz and. Nice. We be doing a little study. I said we be doing a little study out there. I said, I see, Brandon Rice. I said, yeah, I said a lot of receivers, but Brandon Rice. I said, looking at him, and everybody said Caleb Williams. He plays the style like you. But looking at Brandon Rice, I said I think he fits the Kansas City Chiefs very well. What you think about picking him at 32 or around somewhere in the second round? Then he was like, hey, it's a lot of receivers coming out this draft, but we have Hollywood Brown. I was like, oh, yep. Yeah, they ain't going wide receiver.
Hollywood Brown, man, he certainly acclimated himself working out with Patrick the day after he signed his contract, and he seems really excited to be here.
Patrick is the master at dodging the question without, too
arrogant. And that's why I was like, yeah, he dodged the question very well. But how about you, Coach?
Well, I've been studying. I'm all the way so deep into this draft. Is crazy. Like we're going over the more receivers and more DBs coming out, more tackles coming out. But like you said, the Chiefs just need a tackle. That's it, guys. Honestly, they can get if they want another receiver, they can. But I think they go DB anyway. But the tackle for sure in the first.
No, round. Sam. Don't say man crush. So now y'all got Hollywood over here. Now y'all got the man crush.
I mean,
all right.
TMZ Todd, and I said, hey, but again, like Drake's coming around. Drake's coming around. He's seen Brandon Rice, and now he's coming around. What you say? What you say about Brandon Rice?
No, I think Brandon Rice is the more like one of the more polished receivers coming out the draft. And I'm still a Marvin Harrison guy. I think I got Marvin Harrison going number 1. But I think Brandon Rice is the more polished guy from USC. He's very polished, and he's very, very aware of the situations. Like when the play breaks down, he's very alert, very aware. Like he knows his quarterback. So, very polished. Good route running too. So very polished.
Before we get into the first subject of the hip tackle thing, what everybody said in the chat right about now, Dre.
Well, right now on my end, I only see us commenting on my end for some reason. I don't see everybody else commenting, sir. So I don't know what is going on right now.
Anybody else can see?
Okay, Ken, good weekend except for Kansas. Ken St. Clair, former KU player at GC. All right, so I'm not sure who that is. Might have go ahead and put his name in there. Give him some respect. Kareem also jumping in on your Hollywood love. Did you tell him you Hollywood now? Did you?
No, I didn't tell him.
Sam Paris is feeling the man crush too. And Joe just bids us all a good afternoon. So I think that's all I'm seeing right now. So I think we could probably just jump right in. Here we go. Lego my ego. Heads up. Have no fear. The Waffle MOD is here.
Mod is here. I love it.
Let's freaking go. Chiefs Kingdom 3-peat incoming. Let's roll.
Let's go.
Yeah, I'm thinking y'all gonna have to probably take over on these beautiful comments right now because on my side I don't see nothing.
I got you covered. We got you covered. All good. Well, we got one more comment before we top in the subject. Let's answer Joseph's question. Thought maybe at this point they'd sign Quez Watkins, who is the free agent from the Philadelphia Eagles. There was a report by whoever this MF football or MF football guy is, I don't know where he comes up with this dive. He and that Ari dude, I have no idea if these are real people. But they threw it out there that they had heard the Chiefs had interest. We've heard the Chiefs have had interest too, but I got a feeling they're going to kind of see if the Dolphins and OBJ work something out. I think that's a terrible place for him to go. But I don't think the Chiefs are in a hurry. Reynolds is still out there, the wide receiver from the Lions. Why he hasn't been signed by anybody is beyond me. I think he'd be a really, really strong fit.
He's a good piece.
For Kansas City. Hunter Renfrow is just waiting for something. I think he'd be a terrific slot guy for Kansas City. He could also teach Sky Moore how to play the position. So I think it would be a win-win for everybody. Desmond Bailey pointed out, hey, Des, what's up, buddy? Tyler Boyd's out there. He was supposed to sign. This is what we heard. He was supposed to sign with Pittsburgh. That's his hometown. But there was a consensus among the offensive coaching staff that he might not be the best fit for the team itself. Now, whether that means he's too old, he's too slow, but considering the mess they have at the quarterback position, if I'm Tyler Boyd, I don't want any part of that, because you're going to have two starting quarterbacks who are going to start. One's going to start one week, the other's going to start the next week. It's going to be a nightmare. And then Joseph says Watkins signed with Pittsburgh today, so there we go. So he's out of the mix. That's a good signing for Pittsburgh. That pretty much eliminates them from going after Tyler Boyd, who I thought also would be a good fit for Kansas City from a veteran presence.
I said it last week. Quez Watkins is basically McCole Hardman.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a huge difference there. No. So I don't know that was really ever going to be a fit for the Chiefs. If they wanted, I'm sure, the familiarity, the fact that he scores the winning touchdown in the Super Bowl, maybe that carries a little bit more weight.
Sure does.
And they bring him back. But I think, again, a lot of these signings will happen after the draft once teams see, what they were able to get, what they weren't able to get. And again, they're not going to spend a ton of money on anyone at this point.
Yeah. And I think, we were talking about this earlier in the show and before the show too, that, what are the Chiefs going to do at left tackle? The guy they wanted ended up going to Baltimore, got a 2-year deal. Chiefs didn't get him. Now, I don't really know what's out there unless they go after the former left tackle of the New York Jets. Is it Becton or
Kai Becton is a mammoth of a man. But obviously the Jets took him very high in the draft, but hasn't really worked out. So I don't know if it's just a location thing, if it's
just a Jets organization.
An attitude.
Yeah,
thing.
It's just the Jets organization, right?
So I'm sure the pro personnel people for the Chiefs and those that evaluated him coming out, if they like him, I would imagine they would reach out. Somebody like a Connor Williams, he's coming off an ACL. It was late in the year, so I mean, he might be available. But again, I don't think they're going to invest a lot of money in that position right now unless they bring back Donovan Smith at probably what they paid him last year. Or maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah, but he ended up getting about $10 million when it was all said and done, and I don't think, or $8 million. Hey, I want to point out Charlie Sinclair. Charlie saw my post today on Twitter. Can't believe you say the Chargers would trade Herbert. You don't know ball. Hey, I simply said their head coach loves the Michigan quarterback.
Come on, Charlie.
Charlie,
you know what? Hey,
so much. I know how he thinks. I am convinced that there'll be a conversation about moving Herbert. I'm not saying it's going to happen because there are a lot of cap ramifications involved, and they're already in cap hell. So I'm just telling you.
He does love
JJ. He do love JJ. He do love JJ.
I don't buy the theory that he's trying to make that give his boy the love so Harrison falls to the Chargers. I generally believe that Harbaugh is going to run the same exact offense you saw at Michigan. And Justin Herbert is not that kind of quarterback to run that system. I don't think he has the patience yet. I don't think he has the concept of a run first, run second, pass third option. That's what Harbaugh does. You're going to see them draft running backs. You're going to see them draft, guys who are good possession receivers. They're not going to go for the flash. And to me, if I'm the Vikings, and he does get rid of his no trade clause, this is the guy I go after. Give up your first 2 picks and your pick next year. And the Chargers suddenly now have 4 first-round draft picks in the next 2 years that can completely change their football team. And if I was them, that's what I would do. But I'm not.
Well, you got to believe Arizona is going to be in that position as well. Minnesota, they're open for business. I would imagine Arizona would be another team that'd be more than willing to trade out of 4 to get 11 and 23 and maybe even something else next year. So in terms of the Chargers, it remains to be seen here. I think that, they're firmly entrenched with Herbert. I don't think Harbaugh gets hired if he wasn't sold completely on Herbert. I understand the JJ McCarthy love, and he will continue to push, for JJ to get as much as he possibly can. And he should. That was his guy. He recruited him. He's on record as saying he's the greatest Michigan quarterback ever. So, but in terms of the Chargers, they certainly, in that position, they could trade out of there 11 and 23. I mean, Minnesota has all the ammunition I think they need to get up to 4 or 5. And if they really love McCarthy as much as we think they might, then I can see that deal happening. And the Chargers, again, they'd much rather be at 4, but 5 would be a good consolation if they wait until after Arizona makes that pick.
Yeah, and Kareem just said, would Chicago trade 1 for Herbie? No, I don't think they will, because I think the backlash should be too big. They've got their guy, and good luck with it. I don't see that happen. I think the Chargers Vikings trade makes a lot of sense. It's a win-win for everybody. And Lou, you make a good point. I don't think Harbaugh takes the job, but Sean Payton also took the job because he thought he could turn Russell Wilson into something that he wasn't. So I don't know. I think it's the no trade and the cap casualty, the cap situation preventing that deal from happening. I would think that Herbert would accept the trade. They'd probably sweeten his contract. I mean, look at the amount of money they paid Kirk Cousins for the last 4 years, but all guaranteed, every penny.
If you get a chance to go play with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and that whole group, Kevin O'Connell is the coach, Josh McCown is the quarterback coach, that, it's going to be his type of offense. But again, all those, it's all about the money. And they just signed that extension, hasn't even kicked in yet. So, and they had to purge half their offense to get close to cap compliance. So, it should be interesting moving forward, but I think they'll be active in the draft, moving around. And there's a lot of Michigan players that I think are going to be wearing the Bolts colors.
I think JJ, to me, the way it's looking, I believe if it's possible, Harbaugh wants JJ because he knows his style, he knows his scheme. He wants JJ. We know how good Herbert is, and he would be a good, valuable pickup for any team because that man upside is incredible. But JJ is his guy. If the opportunity presents itself, he's going for JJ.
We'll see. We'll see what happens because it's definitely going to be a different offense. And he had Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick at the same time too.
And they went deep into the playoff. They went deep into the playoff with their style. So I mean, that's the guy you want. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right. Back to the show. I know we got some topics we want to talk about, Hense. So let's start with topic number 1.
Before we do that, let's go back into Charlie's question. Charlie has a question there for you. Go ahead.
I like Charlie, man. You're to the point. You don't trade Herbert. Harbaugh would draft MHJ. I'm telling you, Harbaugh took the job because of Herbert. Either Ari gets MHJ or the 2 first rounders or LAC. I don't disagree with you. And I think having Herbert under contract makes a lot of sense. It's just Harbaugh, Harbaugh was at Michigan for 10 years. It took him 3 or 4 years just to change the culture. It took time to develop the staff. It took time to figure out the best way of recruiting. And then it took another 4 years after that to where he got to the level where he could start beating Ohio State. So everybody thinks that Harbaugh coming in is going to be this magical thing. He has got to change the entire culture of that franchise. It's a mess. It's dysfunctional. The training facility and the training staff are terrible. They've already cut a bunch of veterans. They made a bunch of other guys, take pay cuts to stay. They probably had no choice to do that. And it's going to take time. And if it's going to take that kind of time, by the time the Chargers are really good, and I say it's going to take at least 2 NFL years for Harbaugh to get this team to challenge the Chiefs for the division. Why not do it with the kid that the best? That's all I'm saying. Not that it's going to happen.
It makes sense though. And remember, they need a running back also. And so the whole team has to it is a 2-year project. But why not start ahead of the table with a quarterback? Why not start with a quarterback? He knows you. He knows the offense. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That would be like the ultimate coach's flex, saying that I've taken over this franchise, right, and it's all about me. I agree with Charlie. If you have a quarterback, it's hard enough to find one to turn around and say, well, let's go ahead and trade for this guy that's never played it down in the NFL or just a rookie. I mean, it's for the teams that are trading up to get him. God bless him. I hope he works out. But if you're sitting there with an asset of that degree in this league, I think you stick with it and then you build around him.
Okay. I agree with you, Lou. But again, it's like, if you want to flex, why not flex? Deion Sanders did in Colorado. He told him, like, hey, I'm bringing in my guys. You out of here. Even though, like, Herbert is great. He's good. He got a good upside. But if you want to make a change in the culture, you got a guy that knows you. Why not bring him in?
I kind of agree. Let's go ahead and get into what y'all think about the NFL has been the hip drop tackle. What you think about this? We're going to start off with Coach Dre. What do you think about it, Coach Dre?
Hello, as you can see in the picture, it says ACL tear. It says tear from the picture, man. But I get it, but I do get it. I get on both sides. You want everybody to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? You want everybody. You want the sport to be safer, and I get it. I get it. But guys, as you notice in this picture, look how he's tackling them though. Right on the knee joint, the man goes down awkwardly. I get it.
I get the stronger legs.
Yeah.
What? Everybody got
Bingo.
legs. Everybody got Campbell legs, man.
Ding,
Everybody got
ding.
Campbell legs, man. Come on, man. But these guys are small, man. But I get it, guys. But at the same time, it does. Like, as far as injuries concerned, that tackle right there does hurt a lot. Tight ends get the brunt of it. It's the tight end, so I see it.
Yeah, just about every time it was isolated this year on TV, the guy came up injured. Right. I mean, it was Tyreek, Mark Andrews, that play there with Tony Pollard. Now, I think in the still shot, I don't think that's the problem. I think the biggest problem is when the guy rolls on the back of the legs. So again, this is going to come down to how it's officiated. I mean, and that's the last thing that I think the league wants is more, indecision from the referees. So much like when they made the rule, and I think, and it's crazy that I even have to remind everybody about this, but do you remember a few years ago when they were going to start calling penalties for a runner that was lowering his head?
I remember that.
How many times have you seen that called? Do you remember the last time you saw that called?
Yeah, I've seen it. There's quite a few times this year.
It's rare, but typically it's downfield or it's on a defensive player. So again, what's going to happen is, and I think this is where I see it, is in the preseason, you're going to see it called a lot. You're going to see it called a little bit less at the beginning of the season. And as you go, it's going to be more and more up to the referee's interpretation. They're not going to want to throw more flags. And again, as long as the players don't roll up on the back of the legs, I think they're in good shape. But again, it's all going to come down to how it's officiated.
Well, I think the problem is, you're giving the officials another reason to interpret the game individually. It's, the referees, it's not a collective. One guy sees things a certain way, and another guy sees things another way. And there are a lot of egos involved. You got a lot of men and women out there who are officials, and they get ruffled and they get upset, and maybe they call something they shouldn't, but now you're asking them to interpret a new rule, and they can't even determine what is pass interference. They can't even determine what's a quarterback hit. roughing the passer, what's too violent, what's not, what's targeting, all of these things. And it's just, you're diluting the game. And I get why the NFL is doing it. They want more points. They want the offenses to be on the field more and the defenses to be on the field less. The average game scoring is down something like 6 or 7 points per game, and they think it's bad for business. And I get the player safety thing, and I'm all for it. But until we move into the arena with all the technology that we have, that every 15-yard penalty is reviewed by an independent person, the interpretation level, the amount of trust they're putting in the referees. I mean, just look at the postseason this year. It was, for the most part, that was the best officiated sequence that we had all year long. And that was because they got rid of some of these crews. They wouldn't let these guys on the field. And the Chiefs, for their 4 games, I thought the officials, they really wasn't a lot of misses, and there weren't a lot of overcalls and a lot of excess penalties. So you're asking the officials to increase their knowledge on one more thing. And remember, these are part-time guys. They're not full-time. So you can't sit with them collectively and say, okay, for the next month, you're going to go to OTAs and mini camps, and these are the things you're going to work with the players and make sure that you're all on the same page when they're not on the same page about anything. Because when you have elite officiating, less calls are made. And when you have those who interpret things differently, who aren't as good or as seasoned or as professional in some cases, you got a mess. So the no fun league, listen, this is still a violent sport. This is a gladiator sport. But now you're taking the gladiator out. And again, I get player safety and I'm all for it. They've changed the helmets. They've changed the pads. They changed all this equipment. I mean, back in the day, you put casts on your forearms and you go out there and you would bash an opponent by sticking your arm out and making sure they go to the ground. So, as far as my rant goes, I'll end it with this. The NFL has to be really cautious, and they have to start using their technology advantages and the technology that exists today to ensure that if they're going to call these type of plays defensively and all these penalties, they need some help in doing it. You can't rely on the officiating. That is too inconsistent, in my opinion.
Whenever you're dealing with human beings, you're going to have different opinions and different, different points of view. So, and bottom line is, just like in any sport that any of us have ever played, you just hope that, the officiating is consistent. If you know what's going to be called, what isn't going to be called, then sure. Where you run into problems is where they get selective about it, or they get hyped up, or if it's a big game, or maybe they swallow the whistle, or they keep blowing whistles to just kind of, bring some attention to themselves. But yeah, I mean, it's just one more thing that's going to maybe even slow down the games. It'll be interesting to see how the rule is written exactly, because I don't care, how well it's written. When you see it, everybody's going to see it a different way.
It's all interpretation.
Yep.
I feel like, yeah, gotta let them play. Gotta let them ball out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Let it go back to Ray Lewis days. You know what I mean? So that this tackling is going to get.
Brought that name up on the show. I got
it's going to get more. You'll get more softer and softer and softer and softer, and it's always something on the defensive side. You know what I mean? When they change the rules on offense, they're going to put something on, on these offensive players pushing off in the end zone and, catching, pushing the DB to the ground and catching the passes and stuff like that.
Well, those rules are in place. It's just whether they call it or not.
Right. I'm just saying, like, make it stick. But looking at like some of these big guys, big guys hitters that's coming out this NFL draft, was it JJ Temple or something like that from Iowa? The guy put in the chat he's a big hitter. You know what I mean? So I can see that the dog and him coming out the draft, that he's gonna get penalized on stuff like this. You know what I mean? Because and how much can that cause a game? A running back breaks down the field and about to, you stop him in the back end zone. Now you got a 15-yard penalty. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I just don't. Hey, this is a tackling and lead, is a physical lead. I don't see why take it away from it. You got anything to say about that, Dre?
Clearly nothing. Like when Nick just said, it's a gladiator sport, man. It's like why play the game?
Let's not get it confused. It was a gladiator.
It was
sport.
a gladiator.
That's what I'm
sport.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Now take the gladiator down, just a sport. Now there's no gladiator, it's just a sport now. So
well, I think that's the whole point, is that all the injuries and all what they paid out, with the concussion, suits and everything that they're going to do everything they possibly can to take major injury out of the game, which you really can't. But they're gonna put all these things in place to really avoid any future lawsuits that say, well, we didn't know that, what we were getting into. They didn't tell us about this particular type of rule or this particular type of hazard to my body, all this other crap that people will sue over. So again, and we always have to remember that at the end of the day, it's a TV show. And you want to see excitement. Nobody wants to see that Rams Patriots Super Bowl over again, where it was 13-3 and it was a snooze fest. Nobody wants to see that. And to Nick's point, scoring was down this year. That's like a red flag to the league. And that's this. And then we can talk about the new kickoff rule, which I don't know. These special teams coaches are coming up with this stuff, but I think at the end of the day, it just becomes a whole new nightmare for guys playing on special teams.
Yeah. So what did they send in a chat about it, Nick? Since Drake can't see.
Let's see.
Glasses at home.
Kareem said, "Remember when CJ forced a fumble, recovered it, falling on a car, and they called a penalty again? That was the interpretation of the official, and that's." Again, guys, that's the way it is, because there's no instrument to get all these officials on the same page as to what is and what isn't a penalty. And, Tom Hood said, remember last year when you just touched the quarterback and there was a flag thrown for about 3 to 4 weeks. And you're right. They made adjustments. They did fix the things. They did fix the stuff with the players offsides after Kadarius Toney, and they did fix some of the issues with the tackles moving early that kind of plagued the Chiefs and other teams. As NFL teams started pointing out, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. So they eventually made the changes, but they were reactionary, and they're not looking at this from the proper perspective. And again, part-time guys, this is not their full-time position. They don't spend enough time together in the offseason. They don't spend enough time with the team. There's no, all the NFL coaches and all the referees should be sitting in one room for 2 weeks and just going over every rule, every interpretation, all these things, and say, let's come to a consensus. So that way we can teach the players what to do, and the refs can react in a way that's based on the offense of what happens on the field in regards to the penalty. But again, I don't see that happening. And until we have those kind of conversations, discussions, and gatherings, it's when you have training camp, OTAs, mini camps, officials are there, but it's just 3 or 4 or 5 guys, and then those 3 or 4 or 5 guys get assigned elsewhere. And at the end of it, are the officials getting together, and are they discussing, hey, this is what Andy Reid said, this is what Harbaugh said, this is what Tomlin said, this is what Shanahan said. Let's come to a consensus, guys. And instead, it's relying on guys who are not employees of the National Football League. So put an independent guy at every stadium to review every 15-yard penalty, and that's the overriding factor. And you don't have to diss the refs. Sometimes they miss things. So let's just get the game correct. But if not, again, build your offenses if you're National Football League. Get as much offensive talent as you can. Score 45 points a game, and the NFL is going to love it.
Well, that's the way.
Well, you might as well go get if you're gonna build your offense, you might as well go get Johnny Johnson, 6'7". What I mean? If you're gonna try to tackle him, you're gonna get all kind of penalties. What I mean?
There's quarterbacks that can't even reach his hips.
Wow.
So,
right. I'm just saying, like
we might be slightly overreacting a bit. I don't think the game is going to change. It's going to flip on its ear overnight.
It's not.
We not.
But the point is well taken. Is that it is? I mean, everything is geared towards the offenses, more points, so forth. I don't know that making them full time is going to make a huge difference. But in terms of the technology, they do have, when they do those quick reviews, in other words, there's somebody from New York in the referee's ear. I think they put that into play a little bit more, like the NBA does it at their center in Secaucus or wherever it is in North New Jersey. But they're in there in the ear, and they got to get it moving along, because the last thing that fans want, yes, you want to get the call right, but at a certain point, it's just got to be fairly quick and fairly consistent. So I think that's, and again, it'll be kind of clunky maybe for the first few weeks, and then they'll kind of figure out what's what, and everything will be fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to answer any more questions before we go?
Yeah, Tom Hood makes my point. The refs should be full time. You're telling me all the money the league makes, these refs can't be full time. It's a choice. I mean, these guys some are making $350,000, $500,000 a year as an official, and they have other jobs. Some are lawyers and accountants and executives and board members, and there's a whole lot of stuff out there that these guys do on the side. Again, I'm with Lou. It's not going to dramatically alter the game. I get what the league's trying to do, but it's really, really simple. You put a guy at each home game, and he works for the NFL, works for the league, or there's an independent group who reviews everything, and he has 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, and says, okay, that was not a pass interference penalty. That was not intentional. That was not roughing the passer. That wasn't a hip thing. And that's all his job is to basically make sure that 5 or 6 instances of penalties are called correctly. The fans aren't going to care. The players aren't going to care. But again, the players did not want this rule to be implemented. So why not?
The fans will care if the call goes against them, regardless.
If it's the right call,
you can say consistency, you can say fair, whatever. The bottom line is, with fans, the refs are against us or they're for it. I mean, it's just so. Again,
because it's going to benefit the fans on the flip side versus that one time. There's going to be another time where it's going to benefit. It'll wash itself out. It'll be 50-50.
Nobody's thinking that when they watch a game.
Yeah, well,
believe me.
Trust me, they will if one of those calls is reversed late in the game.
But again, in terms of that, they also, during all the playoff games, they had the extra official on the sideline. So, I mean, again, what does it take to have that extra guy there? Will it help? Is he going to have final? Could he have final say in your scenario, or is it a consensus? I mean, at the end of the day, somebody's got to make a call.
Well, the extra guy is there for the head coach. It's to communicate with the officials. That's it. That's the job of that extra official on the sidelines. Right. They can't call plays. They don't have whistles. It's a matter of they have the ability to contact the other and say, hey, read through the flag, or Reid's, objecting to this, or, any kind of communication about time and timeouts. And that's what he's kind of the liaison to the officials on the field. Now, I think that's a good thing to have at every game, to be honest with you. I think that makes a lot of sense. It would give the referees more guys on the field, and it can't hurt. But again, they have the money, they have the technology. Why not start to use it? So we'll see.
Yeah.
One more question before we go to the next subject.
I love it. The Chiefs pay the pay the
yes. The answer is yes.
This question right here, I just put it on the screen for you, Nick.
Yeah. Should the NFL Lego Maego? Should the NFL challenge the flag rules? Yes. I think if you, I like the Detroit Lions. If you get one right, you get 2 back. I think that's important. I think that is a good thing. I think that the more challenges, the better. Or you get 3 challenges for a certain thing, or maybe you get 1 challenge for, a pass interference penalty, or 1 challenge for what's conceived as a late hit or a turnover. All these things, sure, it's possible, but this is the difference between, like, look at the college ranks. The college ranks, yes, it's a slower game, but they review everything. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, you're extending by 15 or 20 minutes, but hey, if I'm the NFL, that's another 3 or 4 minutes of commercials that I can make money on. We're going to go to break for a 30-second commercial. They're selling commercials as the games go on when they go into longer games or extra periods. So, hey, I'm all for it.
But they've also done everything they can to make the game fit into that 3-hour window, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, they try to like tighten things up. They shorten the halftime. Certain things, trying to keep the game moving as far as the clock. And if you go out of bounds before outside of 5 minutes or whatever it is, that once they set the ball, the clock starts up again. So yeah, there's a lot of different things you can look at. There's always going to be those consequences that maybe you didn't think of. But the bottom line here is, in terms of the referees, you hope for consistency, but again, I've said it 100 times, when you're dealing with human beings, no matter how many meetings you have, no matter how many clinics you have, there's always going to be somebody just interprets it a different way. And especially when it's in the moment and it happens like in a flash. So you just got to deal with it. As long as you got the human element, there's going to be some missed calls. There's going to be some bad calls. You just got to keep playing.
One more question from Kareem. Kareem, go ahead. Read that before us, Nick.
Gentlemen, this is my weekly questions. 1, who's the pick at number 32, I'm assuming? Yeah. And the confidence in the three-peat. Well, the pick is going to be... Iowa State. TJ Thompson. Cornerback. Could be. That could be. I don't think he's going to be there.
I think all that time, you need to do this in daylight hours.
TJ Tampa.
You think TJ Tampa will be a good pick? TJ Tampa will be a good pick, sir?
Yeah.
You do it at like 3 or 4 in the morning. You can't even see your bleary eye. Write his name out.
No. First of all, he shut down AD Mitchell. He shut him down. He shut down some good wide receivers, and he's getting overlooked from all these corners. Go back and watch his tape.
I don't know. He's the third best corner in this draft.
He reminds me of Richard Sherman because of his upside and his attention to detail.
You know who he remind me of? That's, I start liking him. He remind me of Marcus Peters. The game, the way he attacks the ball.
He has a better attitude.
But I hope he got a better attitude. But again, this guy, I ain't seen no corner coming out this draft that hits like he do. That comes up and stops the run in the backfield.
You don't think Kool-Aid like that? You don't think Kool-Aid like that?
I seen Kool-Aid, but go look at TJ Tampa, and then get back at you.
I seen TJ. Trust me, I seen TJ. I mean, but honestly, in this draft, it's a bunch of great DBs in the draft that you can actually break down. But I think TJ Tampa will be a good fit for Kansas City. A good rotational guy. Maybe a guy you put right there on the outside, because
he's starting.
He's the same height as Joshua Williams, though. Same height Joshua Williams. So I mean, he got good upside.
But attitude.
Depends on the attitude.
You're right. Listen, it depends what they're going to do. What they value as the Sneed replacement. Obviously he's been traded to the Tennessee Titans for a 2025 draft pick and a swap of number 7s and 24. See you so long. It's been great knowing you. Yeah, glad you got your money. But if the Chiefs really wanted him, they would have retained him. So now it's like, okay, listen, Brett Veach has drafted cornerbacks and safety the last 2 years, and they've all panned out pretty much. And, and I think that's going to continue this year. But, you're right. There's some really good corners. There's some really good corners available that are going to be there in rounds 2 through 7 where he's plucked starters from. So I think that's definitely, something to look at. But to answer your question, for me, if Bowers falls, that's the guy. If not, I take the best left tackle available. Even if I sign Donovan Smith back, I still take the best left tackle available that they think can start this year. Wanye Morris is a project. He's probably going to be more as a backup for left and right tackle.
He's the starter
this year. He's not the starter, not yet.
Absolutely not. It's trash.
Okay.
No. He's not trash. I'm going to defend the kid. He needs a lot of work with leverage.
And 2 games, and y'all go hard on him.
He does not. He's not a good pass protector. He's a good run blocker. He's got to be a better pass protector. I'd love to see
coach as the GM. We'd have like 4 guys left on the team.
I think honestly,
you got 1 quarter to prove your worth in this league, young man. Go out there and get it done.
You better go out there and dog walk them guys. You better get them all in.
not one quarter. With Dre, you gonna have one. You got 2-3 plays. And
you better go out there and get the mauling. You better get the mauling some guys out there.
Mid game, you're just handing them.
Hey, you know what's crazy, guys? When I was banking Joshua Williams this year, he produced. It takes a good spanking. It takes a good talking to for a young man to produce, and he did. He did. Now we can't go easy on these guys. Remember, they're grown men now. All right.
All right, Kareem. Best player available at 32, regardless of position. That I'll stand on that. I don't think they're going to force any particular position. Right. If Xavier Worthy's there, they take Xavier Worthy. If they like AD Mitchell, they'll take AD Mitchell. If one of the top 5 tackles falls,
Rice.
they will take him at 32. But I don't think they'll go beyond the fifth or sixth tackle in the first round.
Right.
They can go in any number of directions. Hell, they could even trade out. So again, if I was going to predict it, I would say one of those receivers that they like, if they're there, bang. Confidence on a three-peat? Absolutely. Why would you not be?
Even without Sneed. I mean, they have a better chance with Sneed, but even without Sneed, I mean, absolutely. Listen, no team in the AFC has improved themselves to beat the Chiefs.
Double Brown Rice. That's what we're going to have. Brown Rice. Double Brown Rice.
And what division, though?
Double Brown Rice.
Nick? What's that?
What you just say? You said
I said there's no team in the AFC that's improved themselves enough in the offseason to this point before the draft that is a serious contender to beat the Chiefs this year.
What? Really?
No. I'm sorry. The Texans are spending money. The Jaguars are spending money. That's great. We don't know what that team's going to look like.
Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence on the way out the door.
Well, he should be. He's not going to.
So you telling me right now? You telling me right now?
Coach is going to be Nick on that GM. This guy, get out! First round, first pick overall, 3-4 years in, get out of here.
Adios.
Hey,
Lou. No. To answer your question,
Lou, they ain't giving nobody no chance. They ain't giving nobody no chance. If you don't come and play right, or you ain't got the right colors on, Nick, throw you out.
Rick said no team improved this year in the offseason. To have no team improved. So go ahead and break it down for me, Nick. What you mean?
Okay, look at the AFC West. Okay, let's take a look at the AFC West. The Raiders have a new coach, right?
Mm-hmm. Before you get into that, let's go and get into our next sponsor.
All right, let's talk about my good friend. All right. We're having a lot of fun today on the Four Guys. Oh, don't worry. I'll come back to him. I know exactly what I'm going to say. So we're going to talk about my good friend, Mr. Dave Purdy. Dave is your mortgage specialist. He is the guy that's going to find a loan that fits your budget, fits your family, fits your needs, and also going to make sure you understand the impact of your credit score, how it affects the ability to get a good loan. Now, whether you're refinancing a house, you want to consolidate debt, or you're looking for a new mortgage, here's what you do. Give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. No credit check needed. Just have a conversation and see where you're at with your mortgage, with your credit cards, and see if you can come up with a plan. What's great about Dave is he understands the difference between having a 1099 job and a W-2 job. That's what you have to have. It's not easy to get a mortgage these days. It's very difficult, in fact. I've gone through the process. It was a nightmare, but Dave got me through it because that's what he does. He solves problems, and that's what you do when you're self-employed, which I am. So that makes a big difference. So you want someone you can trust, give Dave Purdy a call at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is
pretty good.
Pretty good. All right, so let me go back to the momentum buster. No, just kidding. We love Dave. We love Dave. We love Eric very much for being sponsors. We appreciate their trust in us. And as the show grows, hopefully more people reach out to them and take care of it. So let me answer the question. Let's just first start with the AFC West.
Okay.
The Raiders. They can talk the smoke about cutting the head off the snake. They got a young rah-rah coach in Pierce, who I actually like, but they've got O'Connell and Hunt and I'm sorry, I'm going blank.
Gardner Minshew
that they signed. Right. I'm sorry, that doesn't bring fear to beating Patrick Mahomes. You got the defense is good. I'll give him that. That defense is really going to be good. The Chargers. Harbaugh, as we mentioned earlier, wants to build his own team. They're changing the culture. They've gotten rid of a lot of offensive talent. They're kind of a team that nobody knows what kind of team they're going to be other than the history of Jim Harbaugh. They've got problems on defense. They've been underachievers. They have a good coaching staff. It's going to take time for them to establish more cap space, to establish a culture. So I give them a couple years. The Broncos, I mean, Sean Payton's a fool. I'm sorry. He took the $18 million. He took Russell Wilson, and he put this organization in a cap hell situation to where he may not have the kind of quarterback that he wants for a couple of years, depending on who they draft. They don't have the draft capital to move up. They don't have the cap space to do a wild amount of things because they're hand tied. The rest of the AFC, really quick, the Texans, the Jaguars, like I said, have spent a ton of money. We don't know how those players are going to react. We don't know how they're going to go. The Titans have spent money. You know, you look at the Bengals, they made a couple of nice moves. The Ravens lost a lot of good football players to their football team, and they haven't replaced them yet. And, you know, those are the contenders to dethrone the Chiefs. So I'll turn it back on you guys. Who of all, okay, Desmond mentions the New York Jets. Forget about it, Desmond. I don't know if you're a New York fan or not, but that ain't happened. That organization is far too dysfunctional. They don't have the right head coach.
That's a nursing home.
No,
everybody.
That's another.
Well, I'm gonna say this, guys. Again, Now we do know that Joe Burrow, when he's healthy, always give Kansas City problems. Always do.
It's always a win.
Doesn't have the three wide receivers
when you're healthy.
But Joe Burrow himself always gives specs.
Hold on. There's Joe Burrow's arm right there. That's Joe Burrow's arm. He ain't got nothing. You know what I mean?
And so I'm gonna say this again. Then if you look at Baltimore right now, you picked up King Henry, right? What we love to do, they're running first team. So you know
they ain't doing the playoffs.
But listen though, their read option is going to be deadly. The read option is going to be.
Even
though Chris Jones is there, the Chiefs are okay in stopping the run, but they're not the best in stopping the run. And that's opened up so much for Baltimore. If you look at the Browns, like we don't know what Watson going to do, but the Browns do have a good team. They do have a good team. And Texans, right? Look at the Texans. CJ is going to get his guys back, and then some, right? CJ. And that defense improved tremendously. The defense got better, and they got Mixon. They and they got a good running back over there on that side, a good experienced running back. So there's some guys to me that can contend with Kansas City because CJ's hot. He's hot though. So
he came out of nowhere. There was no tape on him. You know, people didn't know what to expect. He exceeded expectations, and I'm all for that. But, you know,
and the defensive line got better too. That defensive front got better.
I know, but, you know, Sam Paris mentioned, and I feel Henry's not one to be scared of, and I agree. I think his best days are behind him. And again, you know, there isn't a team. The Bengals might be the lone exception. I didn't mention the Buffalo Bills. They've got a lot. They've got some talent, but I still don't think that they're gonna get over the hump. But, you know, again, I say this all the time. The Chiefs are built to win in January and February. All these other teams build their teams to win during the regular season. And they just haven't caught up to the Chiefs enough this offseason to make me believe that there's a serious threat out there. Doesn't mean the Chiefs are going to win the AFC Championship game. Doesn't even mean they're going to get there. But until these teams understand what it takes and the continuity you have to have from a player perspective and a coaching perspective, that's why the Chiefs are successful. That's why Andy Reid's such a great head coach, is because he can keep a core together, he can keep a coaching staff together, and he can build his system over time to be successful year in and year out, kind of like Bill Belichick did. But Belichick had a 10-year gap where they didn't win squat. They won their division, but they didn't get to the Super Bowl. So, you know, again, I think the Chiefs are alone in the AFC at this point. Now, if something crazy happens in the draft and there's some movements or there's some big trades or there's some serious injuries in training camp or early part of the season, then obviously the narrative changes. But for me, the Chiefs are built, especially with the new rules, to be in a better position, I think, than some of the other teams. That's just my 10 cents.
Now, so, you know, that with that rule change now, think about it. How everybody going to take down Isaiah Pacheco now? But so
Yeah.
with that said,
You can't do it.
You can't. But with that said, speaking of Andy Reid, what's the news? The latest you want to talk about Andy Reid today? What's going on?
Well, just little rumblings I'm hearing is that there's been a lot of talk that Andy Reid's going to get a new contract, and that appears to be the case now. Whether or not he's going to be in the Sean Payton category of $18 million a year remains to be seen. I think it's going to be somewhere in the 16 and a half range. Not that he doesn't deserve it, but I think Andy would rather see some of that money go to his assistant coaches. And of note, the big guys on defense have all been signed to extensions. So, I think that's good news. That's good for continuity. But, I was thinking this morning, kind of what the topic of the show before some of the news came out from the NFL is that, I hope people really appreciate what Andy Reid has done for this franchise. When he came on board, this was right after the Javon Belcher situation. This was just the worst time. This organization was at its lowest point. And Andy came in and he settled the ship. And it took him a while to figure some things out, even though they had some early success, I think going 9-0 that first season. That I just think that we have to look at it and say how thankful we are, how great it is to have Big Red, and just his demeanor. It's steady. You watch him in the commercials now. He was on that Food Channel today and doing a segment, which I thought was pretty cool. His personality is starting to shift. And I think what's great about it, he's evolved so much, and it helps to have the greatest player on the planet on your football team. But I just hope people appreciate what this man has done for Kansas City, what he's done for the fan base, what he's done for the Chiefs. And he is the biggest reason that they're winning Super Bowls.
Yeah, I think the appreciation for the most people will come when he's gone, because then it'll be something to compare to. Because right now they're just kind of comparing to themselves, and every year it's like basically Super Bowl or bust. But what he's accomplished to this point is just, I don't want to say unprecedented, but it's pretty damn close. And if they do get this extension with him, which I'm assuming will be at 5 years minimum, maybe 6,
maybe,
there's no reason to think they're going to stop winning all of a sudden. Again, barring any major injuries or, losses in one way, shape, or form. But bottom line is Andy Reid right now, and he may have even been before, is got to be looked at as the best football coach in the league. And I don't see it being that close. I mean, people talk about some of these younger guys, Sean McVay and whatever, some of the job that he's done with the Rams and getting them to win with youth now, where they kind of went all in on free agents and so forth. His name comes up, Shanahan's name comes up, but obviously that hasn't worked out very well for them in Super Bowls. So yeah, I don't know that anybody can look at the league objectively and say that anybody's a better coach right now than Coach Reid. And again, the mass appreciation will really come, Nick, I think, once he's gone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think what's incredible is that he's done it in an era and with a team where they have a singular goal. It's Super Bowl win or bust.
Right.
And there aren't a lot of guys that can understand that pressure like he does. And there's not a lot of guys that can deal with that every day. I mean, it's constant. The Chiefs had just won Super Bowl 58, and Jim Nantz and Tony Romo are saying, "Hey, this is the team to beat. They are a destiny team. They are a dominating team. They are one to remember for the ages." And I don't even think they've peaked yet when it comes to that. So, I think it's important to understand how difficult that pressure must be. And kudos to him for doing such a good job. But you're right, Lou. It may be a while. It just might be a while before people really see that when he steps down in 4 or 5 years, to do something else and spend more time with his family. But, as Desmond Bailey said, perfect storm right now. Mahomes, Reid, and Beach.
Yeah.
I would throw Kelsey in there as well. I would even throw Spags in there as part of the, most
definitely. Got those Spags in there. Let me see. Mahomes, Spags, Veach, Reid, and Kelsey, right? those are 5, right? That's what
and Chris Jones.
But he said 5, sir. He didn't say 6, sir. He didn't say 6, sir. Hey, I know Nick didn't say the 4 either. So Rice ain't up there with the legends yet. He ain't up there yet.
4 is getting up there pretty soon. Okay. But again, like I said, Andy Reid, thank God for Clark Hunt flying the private jet at the airport, stopping him from going to Arizona because he would end his career if he went to Arizona. But I
don't need a comment, sir.
but again, if he went to Arizona,
coach and the quarterback, sir.
It could have been. You went in there, you went to the store, you went to go get frosted flakes, you walked out the store off bread. But again, blood. But again, look at Andy Reid. Thank God that he did come to the franchise. Everybody, Dick Vermeil was one of the best coaches to hear, but Andy Reid have changed the trophy case. Mm-hmm. They had to build a new trophy case there at Arrowhead because they was running out of room. They was running out of room for putting trophies, and they still got to put more in there. But again, thank God for Andy Reid. It ain't no man that's coaching right now deserves the contract that he's about to receive. I hope he here. I hope he still coach. Just like I'll wait until Patrick Mahomes decides he want to retire. So, hey, if I'm Andy Reid, I'm still coaching until Patrick Mahomes hang up the cleats, and I'm still holding on to the job until then. But this is amazing having him on the.
We're lucky. Enjoy it.
Lucky.
Enjoy it.
So it's good to get into these questions before we All
right. Tom Hood made a really interesting comment. The Chiefs are the Rocky Balboas of the NFL. They get no respect but keep on winning, and somehow they're underdogs in the big games. And listen, I don't think outside of Hense anybody didn't feel, if you looked at it objectively, the Chiefs weren't underdogs in the postseason because they were. They just happened to get their act together and put it all together, and guys made plays collectively, and they had a good game plan. They outcoached offensively and defensively every single team, from the Dolphins to the Bills to the Ravens to the 49ers, and that's why they won the Super Bowl, and that's why they're going to keep winning. And I think, again, if you look at this whole process, it is. Desmond said it right. It's just the perfect storm of everything that could go right has gone right. And like I said, when I go back 11 years and I look at the end of the last era, the Pioli era, and Andy comes in and just says, enough. And somehow he takes on the challenge, doesn't get on the plane, knows the depth of the problems, and they go out there and they take care of business, and then Mahomes comes along and the rest is magical. So, they're not going to get the respect because all the 31 teams want to tear them down. They want to beat them. They hate their success. I heard, I'm trying to think, it was on NFL Network, and I think it was Vic Carucci who said, I don't want to see the Chiefs win anymore, but I'd like to see them win 3 in a row because it's never been done before in the NFL. Right. And how can you root against it? Now, if that happens, ain't nobody going to be rooting for 4 in a row.
Oh, God.
And nobody, they're going to do everything they can to stop them, but there are at least enough.
There's a short list of people that want to see 3 in a row.
Yeah, that. But I think if you're a fan of football and you're
history
a fan of
are made
NFL,
to be broken.
You're right. If you're a history guy like I am, every record is made to be broken, and that's the ultimate record breaker of all time in the National Football League. There's nothing else that would compare to that. There's no other team that's ever going to get close to 3-peats like the Chiefs have this opportunity this year. And the fact that they're building their team, not overspending, they have a $28 million in cap space, 28.4 to be exact, thanks to the trade of L'Jarius Sneed. They're sitting back and they're going to wait. And they're going to wait. They're going to wait to see who gets cut. They're going to wait to see if they want to make a trade. If they're in training camp and a veteran gets cut and he wants $7 or $8 million, well, guess what? They got the space to do it. So they're in the catbird seat. And if they draft Worthy or one of these top wide receivers in the first round, man, everybody's going to be hating on this team longer because that just gives them another weapon.
How did they let him fall to the Chiefs? And I'm going to say insert any one of those receivers.
It doesn't matter which one.
Whatever one that falls, they're going to say Brandon Rice is, I think, a bit of a stretch in the first round, Hense. But hey, you keep saying it. You keep saying it, and maybe it happens.
Man, can you imagine? You know what I mean? That what was that play that y'all called? We called that play double Brown Rice. You know what I mean? You got Rice and Brown. So double Brown Rice. Hey, bring it on. Hey, and you got everybody rooting for the team. So hey, that would be nice. Then you have Jerry Rice, coaching up the wide receivers in the background. So hey, I'm all for it. Bring you and your dad over to
So you saying that Rice is the best prospect out of this wide receiver
right now? As I look deep at, Dre, I brought his name up. He was like, "What?
He just can't stop the Rice love." It doesn't matter what player ends in the name Rice.
Don't you go there, Nick?
Ask him again in 10 minutes.
I've
heard Brian Thomas, Xavier Worthy. Who else we got in there?
Walker from North Carolina.
TJ Tampa.
All right, so here's
honestly, but Roman Wilson, to me, I like Roman Wilson from
No,
Michigan.
You like Scott Moore, sir. Stop.
You're talking about this year, sir. I said Roman Wilson from Michigan is nice. Roman Wilson is nice. He's a good contested catcher. He can get separation. So I like Roman.
Yeah,
that's my guy right there.
Desmond Bailey. We're all about Ladd McConkey here too. We
he doesn't like him. He does not like him. I watched some film on him on Sunday, and I was super impressed.
Ladd
McConkey.
Yeah, I wouldn't take him in the first round. I don't think he's a first round talent. But before we get too far, okay. So Hense, here's your job for the next show on Wednesday. You're going to create a Rice and Rice graphic with Patrick Mahomes in the middle, and then you're gonna give us 5 reasons why Rice should be taken in the first round over 3 or 4 other guys.
I brought the question right to the man himself. I brought it right to Patrick Mahomes. I said, "Hey,
different perspective."
I said, "Hey, if you look into this draft," he was smiling. I said, "You better go look at Brandon Rice. Y'all say find a receiver that fits. Got to be Patrick Mahomes friendly."
Hey,
this guy, I didn't see him. I
track him down.
He was busy.
They said they didn't give Patrick Mahomes a shot at the number 1 pick. They said that. But again, if Rice is there, man, Worthy, Worthy is a Mahomes guy. Yeah, I understand that one. But go look. I'm telling you guys, everybody in this chat right now is 341 of you guys right now. I give y'all some homework. Go look up Brandon Rice and tell me that he will not fit Patrick Mahomes very well. Mm-hmm. The play breaks down. He's always there. Drake can vouch for that. When the route running is crazy, his route running is crazy, and he still got top end speed. You still have top end speed. So if I know. Nick said what he said. I'm a Rice guy. It don't matter what Rice it is, but it is. But I'm looking at it. Can you imagine Mitch? Mitch called it a game on Sunday. Mitch.
Don't give Mitch any more help.
Mitch called the game. The double brown rice. Go to Chipotle, get you a double scoop of that brown rice. So that's what's going to happen. Get rid of Rice. That's what my pick would be.
So you saying research on Rice? Now remember, I do dig deep into the situation with Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is my top quarterback coming out the draft. I do like Caleb Williams.
He's everybody
else. But I'm gonna say this. The way he adjusts to his quarterback is phenomenal because he does adjust and he is a good route runner. He's a good route runner. So, just depends on what y'all like. Y'all like speed, you like route running, you like separation, you like guys to go get it. So it just depends on what you like.
Marilee's got the GM hat on. Worthy will be gone before we can touch him.
Yeah. You think Worthy really will be gone in the first round?
I think if he's sitting at 30, if he's sitting at 31
I think maybe one of the captains of the bringing the house crew says Marilee, he'll be gone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I mean,
if he's sitting there at 29 or 30, and depending on what the 49ers do with their pick at 31, they're still trying to trade their receivers or who knows what they're going to do. That's a mess of an organization too. But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter if the Chiefs get the top 3 or 4 wide receiver at the end of the first round. I mean, it's defensive coordinators are going to just be, what do we got to do? I mean, this is going to be impossible. If they pick up another running back to offset, Isaiah Pacheco and complement him, same thing. If they solve their left tackle, I mean, again, the Chiefs are built to just keep winning. And everybody knows last year was a fluke with Mahomes. That's not going to happen again. There's no way that's going to happen again. And he still won a Super Bowl with lesser talent. He wins the AFC Championship game against the Bengals 2 years ago with 5, 6, and 7 receivers on the field, meaning rank position number 5, 6, and 7, 5th, 6th, and 7th best receivers they had. They were suited up for the game because of all the injuries. So I don't want to hear it. They're good. They're going to get better, and the league is gonna be really upset. I thought Jerome Bunker said something really great. Do the owners get together and decide who's responsible for the Chiefs not getting which player? Somebody has to bite the bullet to speak. And he's right. There could be a team that says, Kansas not getting this guy, and the Chiefs will just get the next guy that probably was number 1 on their board. So I think there's a lot of smoke right now, which receivers are going after.
But like everybody said, they want to see Worthy. Like even Pro Football Focus put it out there. They said, can you imagine this offense? Rice, Worthy, Kelsey, Pacheco, and Hollywood Brown. But and Patrick Mahomes. But again, I see Worthy. But like Lou said, he had a lot of drops, man, and So you guys to be careful there. But
he said Desmond says top 24-2 guys. Again, like I see the speed, and I understand the speed, guys. But for me watching tape, I don't see a lot. There's no like he's good. He's 6'4", got good speed, but I don't see nothing else besides that. And Luke stated his drop rate is very high too.
It was as a junior, and he was coming off a broken hand. So you look at certain things and you can not discount it.
You out here accusing people with drop balls for a broken hand?
Nobody's. But look at the separation though. Look at the separation when he got elite talent guarding him, man. I don't see like the upside. I don't see what everybody's so hype around this guy for. I really don't see it.
He was pretty consistent his whole career at Texas. I mean, outside of he had some problems with drops, but in terms of everything else, he's right there. He's just he's kind of slight, meaning he's like 170 pounds.
Yeah.
Tank Dell, like 5'8", 170, kind of
Tank Dell separation was different.
Tore up the league a little bit last year while he was healthy. So he tries to block once and he's out. So that's what I'm saying is where I would look towards some of these other receivers that are a little bit bigger, a little sturdier.
Brandon Rice.
That that can play for the. And if they wait till the end of the second round, Hense, I'm with you. At that point, I would feel comfortable taking Brendan Rice.
But Lou, real quick, Lou, if you look at Tank Dell's college tape, he got separation against anybody. Like it was separation.
But he could go to the third round.
But he got separation and it transcended to the league though. And you see how he was in the league.
Also, that's a little bit of a scheme thing he was playing at Houston. So again, it's really difficult to judge a lot of these receivers because of the types of defenses that you face. There's not a lot of press coverage being played in college football. Now you may see it occasionally, but not as much as you do in the NFL.
But if you look at though, Tank Dell took his game again. If you look at his bowl games and you look at his college
the only comparison I was making was their size.
Okay, you're good. Yeah. But what
so
I'm
you
saying
can
is,
say how good he was in college and whatever. But my point is at that size, you might not want to roll the dice in the first round.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And plus, he doesn't have the overall package. Now, to me, Worthy is a good second round guy. He's a good second round guy, but I will never put my Bucks in the first round.
Kareem loves Xavier Worthy.
He does. You never know, Kareem. You might get your wish.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think Kansas City should go first round.
Nah, Way Mahomes smiled about the double rice thing.
Here you go with double scoops of rice, man. He want a double scoop of rice, man.
TMZ Todd.
Hey, I bet he looked at me and said, he started smiling. I said, "Yeah, we need
Hollywood Hense.
How about Joe? How about Joe Alt? How about Joe Alt?
Body language.
If Joe Alt somehow falls at 32,
we trade to get Joe Alt.
I'll be up there. If he get in the 20 range. If the Chiefs don't trade up and get Joe Alt, I don't know what to tell you.
Not happening.
If he's there, Drake. Nobody get Patrick. Now he can come out and take Orlando Brown statement. No one touching Patrick Mahomes.
He can back it up.
Hey, Arizona's going to take Joe Alt. What do you think of that, Coach?
Man, I love that. I love that. Listen, guys, I like Marvin Harris, but Joe Alt helping Collar, I'm loving. Hey, I'm on A+ for me. A+ for me.
He's the best. Joe Alt is the best player in this draft. No question.
Yeah, he is. No
question. From NFL ready, NFL mindset, NFL legacy with his dad, John Alt, who played with the Chiefs.
I'll go
body, size, coaching at Notre Dame, every single thing. This guy is 10-year starter.
I'd go as far as saying he's the safest pick in the top 10.
I agree.
It's a lot. It's a lot of NFL wide receivers. Like T.O.'s. Nobody talking about T.O.'s son. You know what I mean? He's coming out. Nobody talking about. You got Brandon Rice. You got Marvin Harrison sons coming out. So. You know what I mean? It's a lot of receivers.
There's another McCaffrey coming out too, I think.
It's another McCaffrey coming out. So it's a lot of players, sons that's coming out in this draft. But again,
that just means we're old.
Again,
at least a few of us or a couple of us.
So you want to ask some more questions before we close out, Nick?
Yeah, let's Jerome Bunker's what type of rumors do we need to start to have a Joe drop 25? He's not going to drop 25 positions, but you could say, you can't really say anything. That would be pushing the envelope.
Can you get him in one of those gas masks?
Maybe he needs to take a picture on campus that's not very strong, or someone says something bad about him.
Remember Laramie Tunsil? He had the bong thing and the whole mask.
Yeah, that didn't seem to hurt his career any.
I can Photoshop some stuff.
I'd love to have Joe Alt, but the Chiefs would have to give up their number 1, 2 this year, their 1 and 2 next year. I think a team would take that trade.
I'll take that trade for Joe Alt. I mean, that's the foundation guy.
All right, which team? Think about it. A team. Which team would take that in the top 10? Who's gonna? No, I don't.
I bet you Arizona would do it. I think Arizona would definitely do it.
Well, I think again, I guess you have to take into consideration Minnesota. I gotta believe is offering 11 and 23 this year to either one of those teams.
Mm-hmm.
To watch, I'm sure they're offering it to Washington, to New England.
He got jokes. He said Joe Alt bending over is the same size as Kyler Murray.
Kyle Murray will never be touched.
He was not right.
Not next year from that side of the field.
That would change the game. If we get Joe O over Marvin, I'm like, hey, I'm sold that one.
Who was the guy in Necessary Roughness or Unnecessary or no Necessary Roughness, the movie?
Yeah.
Or the Hawaiian guy was like, they'll never touch you, Mr. whatever his name was. Scott Bakula, the 30-year-old quarterback.
Right.
What a great movie that was.
Yeah. The Replacements is my favorite. Favorite. I'm sorry.
Necessary Roughness.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Check that out. But the Replacements, to me, that anytime the Replacements are on, I watch it. I just love that movie.
Mine's is Remember the Titans, man. I think that showed me hard nose. This is my guy.
Not a comedy.
Formula.
Not a comedy.
I mean, it ain't comedy, but hey, hard nose. This is my
really good.
My team.
Yeah.
Give me Shane Falco. Give me Shane Falco any day of the week. I'm in.
Gene Hackman was the coach, right?
Yeah, that's one of his last movies too.
What do you think about Any Given Sunday?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Jerome asked, how many draft picks do the Chiefs really need how many new picks will make this team move up and grab Joe? Okay, well, draft picks, again, it's going to take at least 4 picks to move up far enough for a team to bite if he falls. Right now, the Chiefs have 6 picks, if I'm not mistaken. They don't have a 7th round. They don't have a 6th round pick. That went to the Jets from McCole Hardman. So they've got 6 picks. They did get the extra 3 next year, which I'm assuming they got because they're going to use that to probably move up in the 1st or the 2nd round as ammunition for any kind of trade. And I think teams would be happy to take that extra 3rd round pick in any move to move up in the 1st round. But to get Joe, I mean, it's a pipe dream. It isn't like you're going to find a team as dumb as the Buffalo Bills to jump from 27 to 10 to get Patrick Mahomes or whatever it was. That ain't going to happen. No team's going to be that stupid again. Thank you, Buffalo, for doing that. Well, it's true. They fired their GM that year.
The Bills catching strays. Well, how about this? Now, again, this might be a whole other show, but a few years back when the Chiefs tried to make the move up to trade for Paxton Lynch at the bottom of the 1st round.
Oh my God.
They weren't able to get him. They ended up trading back to the 2nd round. They picked Chris Jones. The following year, they make the trade up for Patrick, and the rest is history. Imagine
it could have gone so bad.
So Veach fired. Andy Reid doesn't have any Super Bowls. So again, it can happen that quickly, and it's the best trade that was never made.
Can you imagine Brett Veach, who's sitting in those rooms in the discussions that I will tell you this for a fact, they loved him. And they wanted to move up. They wanted to make that quarterback jump a year earlier before they did it, obviously, the next year with Mahomes, and thank God. But the Broncos moved up because they knew the Chiefs wanted him. Yeah. And the entire history of this show, of this Super Bowl era, there's no way they pick back-to-back quarterbacks.
We're probably not sitting here all together. Right,
probably
Nick?
not. I mean, it took Patrick Mahomes to get me out of retirement. So,
but look, that's right.
But again, I put in the chat Brandon Rice highlights and TJ Tampa highlights. Tell me, guys, go check these 2 guys out. Check them out.
Make it happen, Hense. Make it happen.
I know Lou said I'll be up to 3 in the morning. I do be up to 3 in the morning watching tape, watching film.
I'm just saying, make sure this is what I do on draft days. Write down the name so that, like, when you wake up, it's okay. It's all good.
He said, Lou said, like, don't stare off, man. We here. We here, man. That's what we got. We here, man. Don't stare off and go to a one-way lamp. No, this guy's great here. But honestly though, I mean the draft.
Hey, I got a board, man. I gotta be a board. If I can turn this camera around, I gotta be a board. All the names.
Do you have a whiteboard? You do.
No, don't show it. Don't show it.
Don't show us till draft day.
Come on, man.
Till draft day, I got it all written down. My wife got it for me last weekend. She said, "You got all these papers everywhere across this room in the bedroom." She said, "You got these notebooks everywhere." So she was gonna give me a whiteboard. She said, "Here you go." So I've been writing these names down, and Brandon Rice is up there on the top list. I know I said Brandon Thomas, but
Rice. Yeah, what the hell happened to Brian Thomas? I mean,
I don't know. What happened?
I just went. This what happened, guys. I went back and watched the tape, and I watched it closely. What did you see? What did you see? This is what happened, Drake. This is what happened, guys. What happened was I went back and I said, I remember what Coach Reid said. He said, these receivers needed to get what, guys? Patrick Mahomes, what?
Friendly.
Ain't nobody friendly. So I looked at it, I said, now what receivers we Patrick Mahomes friendly? When the plays breaks down, who's going to fit the playing style of Patrick Mahomes? And I looked at it, I said, okay, yeah, these other receivers look nice. They got speed, they got that. But if the play breaks down, who's going to be there? Who knows? Okay, I got to look where my quarterback is. I got to know what everybody at. You know what I mean? So again, Brandon Rice, I'm telling you guys, he fits.
So you know what? I haven't heard Roma Dunsday. Now Roma Doomsday is the guy that a lot of people ain't talking about, but that is legit.
Troy Franklin too. You know, he's on my list.
Troy Franklin got a little speed
though. Does your wife know you're this fickle? She's got to be looking over her shoulder. Ouch. What the hell, man?
Ouch. Ouch.
Look, I said, boy, Hense be on one part, then another one. I'm like, every week is a new star, man.
I got one with the green. I got the green mark.
She bought you a board, and you're just man. Every week it's a different guy.
That is marital commitment right there.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's not even in the marital bylaws. That is a bonus.
Yeah, that is a sweet bonus.
Hey, she got tired of all the notebooks all on the floor in the room, so she's like, "Nah, we need to do something."
There you go. That's right.
I love it.
I call Dre up in the morning. I'm like, "Hey, Dre," he's like, "Hey, you ain't sleep, man." I said, "Hey, man, how'd you look at this guy?"
Hey, he called me in the morning, and I had my notebook thick. My notebook is very thick, man. But we go over like every receiver, every DB. We go over everything from the rooter to the. So that's what we do.
So this draft show is gonna be legit, guys. We're gonna have the best guys that possible that can fit there. Because we was mainly right on some of the guys that the Chiefs been drafted that was on our boards and that we put X by. Like this guy could be, like Dre said, the Chiefs gonna draft Sky Moore. This guy fits the Chiefs. I didn't know about Sky Moore until he brought him to me. Then he showed me, and I was like, okay, maybe. I said, no, I want George Pickens. This guy is on top of the list. And then here you go, Sky Moore. He brought Trent McDuffie, Nick Bolton.
My biggest guy for real was Tank Dell, because I did so much research on Tank Dell, and he flourished real big for the Texans, man, real big. But it's just scouting. It's just breaking down tape, man. That's all.
What do you say, Hollywood Todd?
Yeah, Hollywood Todd is emotional, Lou. He changes like the weather. He does, man. He does, bro. One day it's windy, one day it's thunderstorming, one day it's snowing.
I'm trying to bring y'all the best knowledge on the show that I can bring. I got so much I want to bring everybody.
Absolutely.
Now one linebacker has been even included in this mock.
We got two twinkles, sir.
Yeah. Right, they're gonna need some depth at linebackers, and they got to sign Nick Bolton. So, guys, it's almost that hour, and we didn't really even talk about, the impact of losing L'Jarius Sneed.
Go ahead,
and just really quickly, again, you can be upset about the draft compensation, but at the end of the day, there was only one team that showed an interest in offering a draft pick for him, and that was the Tennessee Titans. The Colts didn't, the Lions didn't. Right. There were a couple other teams that kicked the tires at the NFL Combine. The reports from those writers in Indianapolis, they just didn't have the right intel. They trusted the wrong sources. At the end of the day, the Colts really weren't that serious. The contract offer the Chiefs offered him was 3 years and not 4 years. I think that's ultimately why he went with the Titans. He wanted that extra year. Plus, they were offering about $10 million more in guarantees. I think the Chiefs were stuck at $45 million, 3-year deal that, escalated into a higher number. But at the end of the day, Sneed took the cash, and good for him. He's a good person. The Chiefs have proven that, they took Trent McDuffie to be the replacement, for L'Jarius Sneed, and that's exactly what happened. And there'll be a cornerback they're high on this year. If they can't get Trent McDuffie signed, or they're going to lose Watson or one of these other guys, they're just going to keep feeding the secondary machine. And, I think that's why they let Edwards go, the safety. Again, not anything that was a surprise. The Chiefs did attempt to get it done, but they'd rather have the $19.8 million to maneuver the cap, to sign some more free agents, to sign some of their own guys. It was a business decision. If they felt that he was as important to the team as Chris Jones and Drew Tranquill were, which I said, on this show Saturday, that was 1 and 2 for me. Sneed was always number 3 when it came to, if I got to sign these guys. They got the 2 I think were the most important for what they do on the field versus Sneed. Hey, good luck. Wish him well. Hope the knee holds up. And the Chiefs made the right decision and quit getting bent out of shape about the compensation. They would have gotten a better compensatory pick. No, they wouldn't have gotten a better compensatory pick. And there's no guarantee they would have gotten a number 3 for him. Depending on who the Chiefs signed as free agents, because these are balances.
Those come at the end of the round anyway. So I'm sure the Titans pick is going to be higher than that. But again, it's just the business of the NFL. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is the price you pay for drafting well up and down your draft board. They drafted L'Jarius, I believe, in the 4th round, and he played himself into this position. Now, again, he's not been in a Pro Bowl, not been an All-Pro, which, again, is subjective, and you could say, but the bottom line is he is one of the top corners in the league.
Yep.
But, again, 27 years old, knee issue. You're not going to want to go overboard to spend for that position, especially since you've been drafting it so well over the years. The plan is going pretty much as well as they could have expected, right? They got their speed receiver. They brought back Chris Jones, an elite player. Drew stayed for probably less than he could have got on the open market, and we roll on. So it's great for L'Jarius, and he deserves it. In terms of compensation, they did the best they could, and you just move on. I mean, it sucks because, you think he's worth more, but the market speaks for itself. And if nobody else was offering a better deal, trust me, Veach would have went for the better deal. He had the cards. So
you can tell, you can tell Sneed wanted more money anyway. Sneed felt like he's deserving of a big paycheck, and he got his money. Yeah. Right, and he got his money. So
yep.
Yeah.
So and me looking at it, Tennessee got a great guy. I'm gonna give him a nickname they can have out there. We can call him the Tennessee
Kneecap
Strangler. Tennessee Strangler. He gonna lock down all the receivers.
Did you say the Tennessee Strangler?
Nice.
Strangler. They had Baltimore Strangler, but they got the Tennessee Strangler because he locked down all the number one receivers in the league this year, and I was hoping that he would stay here in Kansas City because Sneed.
They're gonna put him on an island by himself.
Yeah,
as Drake have right there and back of that helmet on his shelf right there. I think that's L'Jarius Sneed.
That's
one of the guys, one of the best guys that was on the team. Thank you for the 4 years you've been here.
Yep.
Thank you for you got the 3 Super Bowls while you was here. You won 2 of them. So it was amazing having him. Now you got to see what we're gonna have in McDuffie, Connor.
Hold on, wait. We know what we got in McDuffie. We know what we got in McDuffie, sir. Now Joshua Williams must step up. Not Joshua Williams. It's your time, sir.
No, you got Nico Johnson. Nico Jones. No, is it Nico Jones? 31, number 31.
I'm talking about Joshua.
He got
Nazy Johnson.
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the main man. Joshua
Nick Jones
Williams
hasn't played yet. I think mostly special teams.
We don't know anything about him yet.
We'll see.
Right.
But given the history, he probably is going to be able to play. Right.
Probably.
But yeah, I'm sure Joshua and
he's the man. He's the main man this
Jay
year.
Watson will be, first in line to grab that spot.
Yep, definitely.
You hear that, Williams? Oh, real quick, Bo. You hear that, Joshua Williams? I got faith in you, sir. This is your year to be the lockdown guy that the Chiefs always been wanting. You got good height, good
does
size.
180s like this.
I gotta give him his props, man. I've got Joshua Williams taking over for the secondary this year. Him and McDuffie going
I do a 181 quick, real fast.
But we're gonna answer one more question from Marilee. Do you guys think that Sneed's playing style will change now that he got paid? No, not one bit. Now, does he fit the Titans system? And are they not going to ask him to do more than what he wants to do, which is to be that one guy that shuts down the other receiver? If you're asking him to do a whole bunch more, with that knee, maybe that's a risk. And maybe he doesn't play as well. But the winning culture in Kansas City is one thing. There is no culture in Tennessee right now. So, and he's not vocal.
New coaching staff, GM, everything's new.
He's not a vocal in-your-face guy.
He's from Memphis, Tennessee, too, right? Correct?
I think so. I think so. Yeah. So
let's ask this last question about Tom. Then we'll close it out.
All right. Obviously, Veach wanted to free up cap space. That's why the deal happened. I would have loved to keep him, but it's a business. Hey, listen, the NFL is always a business. Carl Peterson taught me that when I was covering my time with the Chiefs doing War Paint Illustrated, and he just said every single day, everything is calculated on the business of the NFL and the business of the team. The bottom line numbers have to be there. The owners have to sign off on what to spend. Everybody has a budget, each department, how they restructure their salary cap. It's all based on, 1,000 moving parts. And sometimes the business wins and sometimes the player wins. Chris Jones, he won. The player won. Drew Tranquill, the player won. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, a lot of these guys, they've won the business side of things. So then they have to balance everything out with what they have to work with. So Don't ever forget that as a fan of the NFL. It's a business. You look at the rule change today. It's a business. Why do they do this tackle change? Because they don't want guys to get hurt, but they want guys to be able to extend plays. They want more offense. It's a business decision. More offense means more ratings. The NFL has turned in the last 2 years where you're seeing a lot of really good defenses out there and a lot of low-scoring games. Look at the Chiefs last year, all their low-scoring games. The league doesn't want that. It's boring. You can only show Taylor Swift so many times, up in the booth. You want more action on the field, and that's what the NFL is getting. So everything is in the NFL is business and bottom line.
Okay. So let's get into our sponsors before we close out.
Let's do it. Let's talk about my good friend, Mr. Eric Haynes with the Eric Haynes Group. He is your trusted real estate advisor. You can reach Eric at 816-729-3785 or esellskc@gmail.com. Whether you're buying or selling in the Kansas City area or surrounding communities, give him a call, 816-729-3785.
Proud sponsor, Chief Who?
That he is. And also another proud sponsor is my good friend, Mr. Dave Purdy. You can reach Dave at 816-405-5831. Just give him a call. Let him evaluate your current situation for your mortgage. Maybe you've got debt consolidation on your mind. Maybe you're looking at refinancing. Just because rates are a little higher than they've been in the past doesn't mean you can't offset some of those 25 and 30% interest rates you have on some of your credit cards. Let him do a free analysis. Doesn't have to check your credit report. Can sit there and talk to you one-on-one, take a look at your situation and evaluate. Give Dave a call at 816-405-5831. We love Dave because he is pretty good.
And well, we give a shout out to everybody because Drake can't see the screen right now because he
can't.
All right, I'll do it. Jerome Bunkers, James Green, Tom Hood, Marilee Trahan, Ken St. Clair, Kareem, Lego My Ego, Desmond Bailey. Desmond, why don't you come write for us again, man? We miss you. Come on, send me an article or two. Let's see who else we got on here. That's it. So a lot of some new people today. We really appreciate it. Even Gary posted a couple of things. Sam Paris, Sam, thanks for the content. We appreciate it. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. So Anonymous Mango, of course, just keeps bringing it. He's a guy who's just great fun to talk with and talk through. And I think we even heard from the Salsa King as well. So guys, thank you all. It's been a great show. We'll be back on Wednesday. Again, check us out at Chief Splits on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Check us out at chiefsplits.com. Social media at Twitter, at Facebook. It's all at Chief Splits. Pretty simple. Just like it all. Enjoy the show. Tell your friends about the podcast. Again, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 12 o'clock Central Time is when we launch our show. And it's going to be 90 minutes now. So we're excited about that. So everybody enjoy it. So Hense, Lou, Andre, love you, my brothers. On to the next thing. And who knows what the Chiefs are going to break today in any kind of news. Catch us
Chiefs
out.
who on Wednesday. Chiefs who's going to win?
Who's it going to be?
Who's it going to be?